Go.
Welcome to episode 70 of Bruins Beat by CLNS Radio. I'm Mike with Joe and Jason as always. And just as right before we started recording the show, I think Joe put it very eloquently, is that last week's show was about the crappy Bruins, and this week's about the happy Bruins.
That's hashtag crappy happy.
The Bruins Jekyll and Hyde. Crappy, because obviously the Bruins decided to, go on a losing streak last week to get us all worried. But now they're on a winning streak, and they've won 5 games in a row. Yes, the Boston Bruins, they haven't done this all season long, have won 5 games in a row. And, guys, I'm just, before we get in the breakdown of some of the games and discuss the stuff that happened, can we just talk about how if the Bruins win in regulation on Tuesday, they clinch a playoff spot?
Oh, my God. I think it might be almost as exciting as the Patriots win the Super Bowl because it's just been way too long. Damn, guys, I think, I was in my early 40s when they were in the playoffs last. So I'm in my mid now. So we absolutely need this bad. I need playoffs in my life because, of course, we have to all get together to watch a game as well. So let's get this done. Hopefully, a lot of pressure's on Tuukka tomorrow because if he doesn't win, oh, my God, the hate train is coming.
Yeah, the hate train's going to come. But, I mean, like you said, we need playoff hockey. I mean, it's been 3 years, or 2 years. They haven't made 2 years, right? They made the playoffs in 2 years. This would be the third. But there's 3 games left. The Bruins have put themselves in a great spot by winning these last 5 games. They should be playing Tuesday's game like it's Game 7 of a playoff series. Because the last time they played Tampa, they didn't show up. As we know, that was the losing streak they were just on when they last played Tampa, and they gave Tampa some life. They need to come out and play like it's Game 7. Everything's on the line. Because then if you win, and say, Bergeron's dinged up a little bit, you can sit him on Thursday because he will at least clinch a playoff spot. And I'm not saying they need to do that, but that's the advantages of clinching a playoff spot when you can. In Tuesday's game, I know we've talked about this on the show a bunch of times about must-win games, but Tuesday's game is by far a must-win game.
Yep.
No questions about it. It's a must-win game because the Bruins have been taking care of business. I mean, obviously, you saw it against the Stars. I mean, they didn't play their best, but it doesn't matter. They got the 2 points. Against Florida, I didn't think they played their best, but they got 2 points. And then yesterday, holy smokes, that was a surprise with that win. No one saw that win coming. Hudobin stood on his head, but even though Hudobin made some really nice saves, I thought the Bruins played a really good game on the road for having to play back-to-back and traveling the day before. I thought they played an excellent game in Chicago.
The game was ridiculous. I unfortunately was under a TV ban at my niece's birthday party. My sister won't let us watch television, which is like pretty much communist. But I was watching the highlights and getting the updates and all this stuff. And yeah, Hudobin played off his mind. I saw a couple incredible saves. But I'm pretty sure that the Bruins website crashed because all the Tuukka haters were buying Hudobin jerseys after the game. So
yeah, can we talk about this? Like Hudobin is now all of a sudden like a quality backup goalie. Where was if Hudobin could have started the year like this, we wouldn't be sweating out a playoff spot right now.
True story. Thank you, Mike. True story. Everybody's like, not everybody. The haters like Hudobin, this, that. He was so putrid at the beginning of the year. Like you said, if they won more than 1 game before Claude got fired, we wouldn't have to be throwing up in our mouths right now.
They put him on waivers twice.
Oh, that's true too. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that's right, haters. They put him on waivers twice. That's right, Mike.
And no one picked him up because that's how bad he was.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Look, I get it. He's playing really well now. He played really well in Chicago. But Anton Hudobin's not going to be the number 1 goaltender. Because when you watch the game yesterday, it was great and it was exciting. Like I said, Hudobin made some great saves. But when you watch him, he gives you a heart attack when he's in net. Because he's always flopping around and he's being so aggressive in the net, and a shot that would be a normal save for a positionally sound goaltender, he has like some Tim Thomas in him. Do you know what I mean? Where Tim Thomas would I'm not comparing them. So
they were making references to that yesterday in the first period.
Yeah, he was just like out there flailing around. He was like outside the paint. And look, it works for some goalies, and if you can master it, obviously Tim Thomas did. But that's kind of what it's reminded me of. But I mean, he gives me a heart attack sometimes when he's in net, and I appreciate what he's doing, but like I said, if he did this earlier on, the Bruins would have clinched a playoff spot like 3 weeks ago.
I agree completely. So he's in the whole team. See, the thing is, the whole team's playing well. You know what I mean? I think the style of play with Cassie with the run and gun, like that Kevin Miller goal. Even though I'm not a Kevin Miller fan at all, that was a nice goal. And you know for a fact, if Claude was here, that he never gets up on the play. So it's refreshing to see. It's great to see. Being aggressive. In this hockey of 2017, that's what you got to do. There's no more. A lot less teams play defense except the Senators. More teams are running guns. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree, and we can just talk about everything right now is pretty much going the Bruins' way. I think Patrice Bergeron has been absolutely incredible these last few games. And
oh my God, yep.
He's been him and Marchand, I think, have been playing the best. Like you said, their defense has been playing actually really, really well. They've been blocking shots. I
have a take on that too. It's
they've been blocking shots.
Specifically, and I only got to watch the first period yesterday, and I know the Bruins made a couple of mistakes on defense, but Colin Miller in the first period yesterday was incredible.
I just think their defense in general has been really, really good, and they've been blocking shots. I mean, their penalty kill has been really good. But I guess Bergeron stepped up. There's two concerns I have going forward, but we'll talk on that in a little bit. But I just think that the defense has stepped up. You know what I thought was actually a good thing for them was when they did lose to Tampa Bay, because I think it kind of woke them up. Because the two games that they lost to Ottawa and Toronto. We were talking about how like the games came down to the wire. It was like a penalty call here or there went against them, and could have cost them the game there. But they were in both games. But they were just so bad in the Tampa game that I think they were like, okay, guys, let's get our act together. And now the leaders are being leaders. You're getting point productions from all the guys that you're supposed to, and everyone's stepping up now. And this is what you need. This is what the Bruins needed to do for the past 2 years, but they're doing it now. But, I mean, I don't want to say that they're definitely in the playoffs because we've seen how this story has gone the past 2 seasons.
Don't jinx.
But if the Bruins don't get in the playoffs, this will be the worst one by far. This will be the worst one.
I don't know. I mean, when they were 10 games clear in mid-March, 10 points clear in mid-March, that was a pretty big debacle.
Yep, but this one will be worse.
This one would hurt more.
You changed the coach. You can't blame the coach anymore. They've been playing a lot better. They've been, like you said, under Cassidy, they seem to have turned a corner, and all they need to do is win Tuesday in regulation against Tampa, a team that they usually play well against. That's all it is. Tampa Bay was selling at the deadline. People didn't seem to forget that. They were selling. I know Tampa Bay's climbed into a playoff battle with the Bruins, but you should be able to win that game, and then you're in. And if they don't, then they have 2 more cracks at it against Ottawa and the Capitals, and if they lose 3 straight after winning 5 straight, I think that would be worse. Especially
here's why I think that the Bruins can clinch it.
We're excited about this team now. We're excited to watch them. If they do, I think what Jason said earlier, it would hurt the most. I think he's right because it would hurt the most. Because now it's all on them. They're playing better. Get in the playoffs. You should be in the playoffs. You should have been in the last 2 years. Get in now.
Go, Jason.
And not only do I think that the Bruins should be able to make it into the playoffs, but Ottawa's got 3 games and 4 nights coming up. So that game against the Bruins should technically be what you call a scheduled loss. If you look at it that way.
Nothing's scheduled now.
Nothing's scheduled because the Bruins were in that position and they beat the Blackhawks. So, you can't predict it. But now the Ottawa score is 2-1 and Detroit's winning.
Yes, end of the second. Yep.
End of the second.
I mean, you just can't look at it that way about the 3 games in 4 days or whatever, because not for nothing, the Bruins are 0-3 this year against Ottawa, and they had problems with them last year too, and Ottawa kept them out of the playoffs. So I don't think anything with the Ottawa Senators on the schedule should be looked at as a scheduled loss or anything like that, because the Bruins can't. The only thing the Bruins have been doing to Ottawa recently is lose.
True. So
very true, even though those games, a couple of them have been really close.
What I really want them to do is I want them to take care of business tomorrow night against Tampa, and then whatever happens in the last 2 games. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't think they're going to make much noise in the playoffs. I'd love them to, but I don't see Holtby. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to play Ovechkin. No, it's not Ovechkin. It's Holtby. Holtby owns their rear.
But if Ottawa chokes and Toronto chokes, the Bruins have a chance to escape that Washington game.
Well, I don't think
if the Bruins can win out, they have a legitimate shot.
Dude, Toronto scares the living hell out of me. I'm sorry.
But I was talking to a few of my buddies about this the other day about if the Bruins win on Tuesday or Ottawa's obviously been sucking recently. They're 0-4 in their last 4 games. People were like, I don't want to. My friends were like, I don't want to play the Capitals, and I said, to be honest, look at the 3 potential matchups that they're gonna have. It's either Washington, Toronto, or Ottawa. So take your pick. And he was like, good point. And I said, I said it doesn't matter who they play because it's going to be tough for them regardless. But I said if I was to choose a team to play in the playoffs, it would be Toronto. And the reason I would pick Toronto, no, can you hear me out before you say no? You don't even hear my argument and you're already saying
wow,
no.
Wow, the Italian anger. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Well, because one, the Leafs are so young and inexperienced that I think that the pressure of the playoffs will get to them. And 2, playing in Toronto in that market, it's a lot of pressure on those players. And also, 3rd, their defense is not that good. I think it would be, like you said, the NHL is now more run and gun. I think the Bruins would be able to kind of expose the Leafs defense, and I would be more comfortable playing the Leafs because I don't like the way the Bruins have been playing against Ottawa. Ottawa traps a lot. I don't like that. And if you play the Capitals are better than you. I mean, there's the Capitals choke in the playoffs, yes. We understand that, but I don't think the Bruins have enough talent.
That's my argument for why they should play the Capitals, especially the way that they're playing lately. Because we've seen things like this happen before. Remember the Kings a few years ago?
Yeah, but I don't think the Bruins are as good as the Kings were. And Jonathan Quick stood on his head. Unless Rastus, turns into an absolutely stellar performance that we talked about with Tim Thomas in 2011, which only happens once every never. It never really happens. So Raskaters got to stop. But I don't want to play Washington because they're better. It's as simple as that.
Here's my rebuttal to Toronto. One, they're playing with house money. They're young, and no one thinks they're going to do anything.
But won't the Bruins be playing with house money too? No one really expects them to do anything.
Michael, I have the floor now, Michael.
Yes, you're right.
You got angry at me, Michael, when I cut you off, Michael.
I know, you're right. You are right.
Anyway, respect your elders, Michael. Anyway, so they're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. If you remember, the Bruins didn't beat them this year. If you forget that part, and they suck in their own end, but if they put up 4, 5, 6 goals, which they have been lately, the Bruins are in some dire straits. I think to keep up with them. If you remember those games they played, and they couldn't keep up with them. I mean, they're so friggin' fast. That speed kills, man. That scares me. I think the best matchup for the Bruins. I think the Senators, if they limp into the playoffs the way they're playing right now, I think they're probably vulnerable right now because they've been a red hot mess. They're pulling the Bruins from 2 years ago. Remember, Ottawa was on fire a couple years ago, and the Bruins stumbled at the end and didn't make it. It's almost the opposite. So,
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I just think playing Ottawa would be so boring because their style of play is so bad that I just want no part of it. Like you said, I mean, Toronto is playing on fire. They have a lot of up-and-coming rookies that are really good, but I just think the pressure of Toronto and them being in the playoffs, they'll be just happy to be there. And I understand what you're saying. They're playing with house money. I get it. But I think the Bruins are kind of playing with house money too because no one expects them to go that far. You make a series out of it. And also, the last game against Toronto, the Bruins were right there. They got a penalty call on them for interference with a minute left, and that's when Toronto scored. So I think the Bruins can compete with Toronto. I understand what you're saying. I understand why they're scary. But I think Toronto, for me, would be the team I want to see them play.
I mean, I think it's all safe to assume that the conference champion is going to be coming out of the Metro anyway. The Metro's stacked. I don't think Atlanta could even compete with any of those teams anyway. Montreal all the way down. So,
doesn't it kind of suck for Montreal that their first round matchup's going to be against the Rangers?
And the Rangers
that's a tough draw.
One more point. That's what happens. I mean, I don't know this whole wild card thing. I'm not a huge fan of it. But hey, I mean, that's what it is. That division is just so stacked. It's ridiculous.
And I hear what. I hear what Jason you were saying earlier about Washington being notorious chokers. But I mean, you look at it last year. They lost to Pittsburgh. It wasn't and the series it was in 6 games, and Pittsburgh won in overtime. So I understand Washington is notorious for choking, but I just think if the Bruins met up with Washington, it would be the same thing that happened with the Flyers last year when the Flyers snuck in and played the Capitals. Yeah, they lost in 5 or 6 games, and it wasn't even really that close.
And that's what I'm saying.
I don't want that.
That's why I'm saying either game. I personally, as much as I think it will be a boring series, I'd rather play against Craig Anderson and the Senators right now, seeing how they're kind of choking away. That would be my first round matchup, and then play with house money from there. Do I think that the Bruins can win a series if they have to play the Capitals? No way, Jose. I think they could win a game or two. And a game or two is huge either way.
I think the Sens is their only chance to win a series, to be honest with you.
I think they can I think they can beat Toronto, but I would rather play the Senators.
Well, if they play Toronto, that thing's going 7. You know what I mean? We know how that goes. But if they win a round, for me, everything is gravy after just making the playoffs. After the way the season started, I will just take playoffs. I think they're going to put up a fight. I don't see them getting swept. I mean, granted, a month and a half ago, I didn't see them even making the playoffs. So right now, I'm just happy. This is a building block to next year. And you got these young kids like JFK and McAvoy coming up. You know, as Mr. Buckley said at the beginning of the year, Jason, I'm giving you credit that the young kids are coming up, something to get excited about. And you know what? You're right. Even those, the 3 kids they drafted a couple years ago coming to form. This team went from having nobody in their minor league system about 5 years ago to getting stacked. So,
and this is what we've been waiting for.
We'll talk about the rookies in a second, and I just want to keep talking. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there. I just want to keep talking about I just want to keep talking about some of the playoff matchups and some of the things I'm worried about for the Bruins if they make the playoffs, because I'm not really happy with the Bruins' third line recently. Obviously, everyone knows that their third line sucks. It's trash, and you can pretty much say the fourth line of Nash, Achari, and Dominic Moore has taken over as the third line, because Jimmy Hayes sucks. Obviously, we know that, Joe. Ryan Spooner has been a no-show ever since he came back from his minor concussion, I guess, or whatever. I think Ryan Spooner sucks. I've been ranting about Ryan Spooner on this show, but Jason just said Matt Bolesky sucks. I mean, he tries, but he's just not very good.
Guys, you know what I need to do, just like I did yesterday, is called the reverse jinx. I said that line is red hot garbage, a hot mess, and right within about 5 minutes of me saying that, Spooner scored. So I did this a lot with Louis Eriksson last year when he was having slumps and stuff like that. So I will continue the reverse jinx, and hopefully Spooner will step up. And Bolesky, God, man, I wanted to like him and want him to do well, and he just can't.
Can I just tell you that they actually announced today that it was Chara's goal and Spooner didn't touch it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
That's true. That's fact, actually. Spooner did say it. It was God. They talked about it during the first period.
Oh, what a kick in the cojones. Because that kid, he you know what? Maybe Claude was right about him. And speaking of Claude, let me know if you guys heard this today. I know it's kind of going off the beaten path a little bit. But Fred Toucher 985 said that Claude was like literally losing his mind with the team. He was getting so frustrated that he was taking out on players and everything. So it was getting ugly at the end. That's what I heard. So,
I mean, I could probably see that happening because, I mean, the last 2 years obviously didn't go well. I mean, this year was a struggle. I mean, we talked about it, like you said, a month and a half ago, the Bruins not even making the playoffs. So I can see that. Sometimes it's just time for a change. And it was, I kind of equate it to like, I know you're not a big baseball guy, but like Terry Francona from the Red Sox.
Oh yeah.
Like his time was just up, and it's unfortunate. You don't wish the guy any bad things to happen to him on his way out the door. It was just sometimes you just need to move on. It's like it wasn't the right fit anymore. You had a good run, cherished all the good times, have a good life now, and we need to get someone else in. And that's what we talked about on the show for like 4 years, not 4 years, for like four weeks to a month to every like month pretty much.
So let me ask you guys this question. Now that we have 3 games to go, the Bruins are on the verge of clinching. Whether or not, would you just keep Cassidy for next year at this point?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't... We talked about it. I don't know why they haven't even lifted off the interim tag already.
Even if they drop the last 3, he's still 17-10, which better than Claude did in a stretch that long. I don't see them dropping it. But if they make the playoffs, absolutely he has to get a contract. They're resonating...
After Claude was fired, they weren't supposed to make the playoffs, so the fact that they're making the playoffs is huge. or have a
Yeah.
chance to make it
I
huge.
thought they were done. Who thought Cassidy was going to do this? Nobody.
I did.
Oh, stop.
I did.
No,
No,
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
not gonna lie.
I'm
I
just
thought
kidding.
Cassidy could do it. I was one that was voting for Cassidy a long time ago.
I thought he was going to do better. I mean, who couldn't do better than the club? Did I think they're going to make the playoffs? No, but he turned me. God, he made me a believer right away. Absolutely. I mean, his whole way to play is completely different than Claude's. As we all said, guys, how many games when Claude was coach that we could not even sit through? You're like, oh my God, it's painful. It was so painful. It was like taking spikes and to put them in your eyeballs. It was so painful. At least even when they lose it, at least it's a game. That's all we want is some kind of effort. That's all effort.
And think about it.
Yeah, it is.
After that 4-game losing streak, you would have thought it was over. And then the Bruins played a defensive-minded game against the Islanders. Credit Hudobin for that game. I know the Rask haters are going to like me saying that. But then Tuukka Rask came back. He responded for a couple of straight games. Then he put Hudobin back in against Chicago. And Chicago should have had 6 goals with some of those saves Hudobin was making. Especially the defensive giveaway right in the front of the net that Hudobin saved early in the first period. So,
but now everybody's like, ride Hudobin. Ride the hot hand.
But no, you don't ride the hot hand on that one. Hudobin's a good backup. You stick with Rask. Because Rask is responding to the fact that... Don't interrupt me. My turn to talk. I wanted to say that.
Stop.
But Rask is responding. Rask responding to the criticism that he got from Cassidy. And that's what you want. He's playing with a fire. So it's important. You stick with Rask.
Yeah, he's 4-0 in his last 4 starts, and people don't seem to just ignore that because Hudobin played well yesterday. Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that Rask saved the Bruins.
You want Hudobin playing well.
Against Florida.
You want a good 1-2. You want a good 1-2-10 like Tuukka Rask and Chad Johnson were at that one point.
Jason, you interrupted Michael. Michael's talking.
No, but I mean, Rask went 4-0 in the last 4 starts. He saved the Bruins against Florida.
Oh, he did.
The Bruins in the third period were not good.
Nashville too. Dallas too. But you know what, Mike? You guys have to hear this one. This is an argument that some of these people who are on my page and are haters basically said, Hudobin made 41 saves. Tuukka couldn't do that. And someone came back and said, well, Tuukka only faced about 30 shots and 20-something shots against Chicago, so he can't stop 41 if they only takes 36. It's unbelievable. Like, he can't do anything right. Like, he didn't have enough saves against, the other 2 teams because he only, gave up 30 shots. That's the defense's fault for letting up 41 shots.
Yep, and I don't want to hear the argument anymore about. Sorry, I'm just going to go on like a minor rant a little bit right now. I don't want to. Can people please cut the crap with this Martin Jones stuff, please?
I know, it's so brutal. Jesus.
I hate it so much. Martin Jones didn't even put a Bruins jersey on because he was traded so fast after the Bruins acquired him. They traded him to the Sharks, and do people not realize that the San Jose Sharks were built right now to be a Stanley Cup contender? That's why his numbers are where they are. They have They have the Norris Trophy winner on their team right now in Brent Burns. They have Mark-Edward Vlasic, who actually, made Team Canada for the Olympics and played on the Team of Canada, the most powerful country in the world, on their Olympic roster team. So they also have Joe Pavelski, Logan Couture. The Sharks are loaded. So Martin Jones, with all these stats that he has with the Sharks, yep, he plays pretty well. But he also isn't Patrick Waugh out there. The Sharks are better as a team. He has absolutely nothing to do. I mean, really, obviously he has a part in it, but he's not the benefit.
Oh, don't tell me you got cut out. Mike, you still there? Mike?
So, anyways, back to what I was saying about Martin Jones has a great team around him, and that's why he does well in San Jose. San Jose is actually not doing that great, though. They're in the playoffs, but if you haven't noticed, they've been kind of losing recently. And it's if Martin Jones was on this Bruins team, he wouldn't be as good as Tuukka Rask is, because I don't think Martin Jones is as good as Tuukka Rask. So enough about Martin Jones, because he wouldn't be the savior of this franchise. So please cut the crap. Go ahead.
Mike,
I know you joke. Yeah, you've been itching to get to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get. All right, so Mike talked about these are one of the alternative facts and fake news. that the Tuukka haters like to speak about is that Martin Jones, who never played 1 second for the Boston Bruins. But here's some other ones. Let's go with this one. 2010, Tuukka choked. Let me tell you, Rask. Let me read from my article. They called Alternative Facts and Fake News. God, I can't say what was it. What I call it again? The unjust hatred for Tuukka Rask. Now, 2010. Mike, who sucked in 2010?
Tim Thomas.
Oh, he was pretty friggin' bad. You know how bad Tim Thomas was that year? He
got
17,
benched.
18-8. He got benched. And who came in? The rookie, Tuukka Rask, who beat Buffalo, and then also, he won as many series as Thomas did at that point already as a rookie. Yep, won. He won one. Yep. And then the whole team did choke in the against the Flyers. So everybody forgets he was a rookie. Everybody forgets that Tim Thomas sucked eggs that year. Okay, so that's garbage too. So let's go to 2013. Everyone blames Tuukka for that too. Well, the funny thing is he had about identical stats as Tim Thomas did, except to the point where they didn't win the cup, of course. But the 2 goals, I believe Stanley Cup or Chowder Champions one that did a really good article talking about how basically that last 17 seconds was, I believe one was on a deflection and one was that Johnny Boychuk Blues coverage. So you know what? It takes more than just a goaltender to blow a goal lead with 17 seconds left. So let's cut the crap there too, okay, guys? So let me just.
And I get it. No, go ahead.
And then also too, do you know how many most games that Tim Thomas ever played in a season?
No, I don't actually. I remember reading your article, but I forget what it is.
Guess what? Timmy Boy never played more than 59 games after 2006, 2007. Never played more than 59 games. During the Stanley Cup year, he only played 57. Who was his backup that year?
Tuukka.
Oh, Tuukka. And then I said, funny how a rested goalie can perform so well down the stretch. So
look, I get it, and people will complain about everything. It's just, yes, he makes a lot of money. Yes, his contract is not ideal, but that's what happens in the NHL. Sometimes you have to overpay for people. That's what happens. They overpaid for Krug. They overpaid for Chara. They overpaid for Krejci. Yeah. They overpaid for Backes. People don't complain about Backes.
Yeah, Backes hasn't.
He makes $1 million less than Tuukka Rask does. But no, people don't say anything about Backes. I think Backes has had. I don't think Backes has had a good year.
No, not really.
His contract's not that good. I understand. He makes too much money. He's the 3rd highest paid goalie in the league. But you know what? He also brought his team to a Stanley Cup. What other team? There's not other goalies that can say that. Braden Holtby? Nope. Hasn't been to a Stanley Cup. Pekka Rinne? Nope. Hasn't been to a Stanley Cup. Carey Price has not been to a Stanley Cup. Okay? It's not just a goaltender's fault all the time. It's a team game. It's a team sport. That's what happens when you play a team sport in game.
I think Dave Reed made a great point on our show last week, too. Like, if Tuukka was a guy who quit on his team, you don't think Cam Neely and Don Sweeney would be trading his ass out of town? Absolutely, all day. Especially your goalie, who is the most important position in sports behind the NFL quarterback. So if you think he was like, I don't know if you guys ever had diarrhea or thrown up from both ends when they said it against the Senators. I don't know if you can clench your butt cheeks and do a butterfly save, because I can. Let's call
I rip, and I get it. Like, and you and I, we defend Rask, but also when he plays bad, we say he plays bad.
Yes.
Like, it's not like we sit there and praise him all the time. Like, if we need to be critical of him, we'll be critical. And also, people seem to forget, because someone just brought it up here too, he has a no trade clause, so you can't just get rid of him. That's not the way.
You can going the next year, and next year he has to give a list of 8 teams.
Yes, next year, but right now you can't. Like now, like this year, like going into this year, people were like, "I'm done with Tuukka Rask." People were saying, because last year when he sat out against Ottawa, I mean, he's going to have a limited no trade clause. But you look around the league, not many teams are going to be in dire need of a goalie. Like you'll have a certain select few teams, but what if Rask doesn't put them on the list? Then you can't trade them there, so it doesn't really matter. And also, what do you want to start? Subban?
And I see. You know what's another thing, guys? That everybody, the haters complain, but they never have a solution.
No.
What's your solution, guys? I don't have you don't have a solution. Now everybody's talking about they should get rid of Tuukka and get Darling from Chicago. I don't. If I was Chicago, I don't know if you saw Corey Crawford has probably the worst glove hand that I've seen. Like even in the 13 Cup, his glove hand is so horrible. I get rid of Crawford over Darling. You know what I mean? I think Darling might be better than Crawford is. Crawford's terrible. I don't see the Blackhawks getting rid of Darling.
I also heard this on the radio the other day too, and it was a real. Or I heard it somewhere, and it was a really good point. That about Rask's workload and how the Bruins haven't had a good backup goalie in quite some time now. I mean, look at the piles of trash that they had behind them. Svedberg, trash, not even in the league anymore. Khudobin, who they sent down the waivers, even though he's playing good now. They sent, like I said earlier in the show, he was put on waivers twice. Twice.
Is Gustafsson out of the league too?
Yep, he is.
Wow.
So those are his last three. Those are his last three backups. But you look around the league, right?
The last good one he had. Chad Johnson was the last good one he had. But they were wagging that year. They were wagging.
Yes,
so.
and you look around the league, right? Lundqvist has been injured for a little bit, and who actually stepped in there? Oh, Anthony Ranta, and they didn't skip a beat. When Crawford been dealing with some injuries over there in Chicago, like Darwin plays pretty damn well. Oh, how about this example? The Los Angeles Kings lost Jonathan Quick like in the first month of the season. And the only reason they were competing for a playoff slot was because they had a backup goalie, Peter Budaj, who played pretty well. The Bruins haven't had this in 3 years, and Rask has been forced to play 60-plus games. And yes, I get it. Some goalies can. Lundqvist can. Holtby can when they both are healthy. But some goalies can't. And like you said, Tim Thomas never played more than 59. So it's good to have a backup goalie that can help you win games, and the Bruins didn't get that, and they haven't gotten it in 3 seasons, and that's on management, that's not on Rask.
Mike, someone just brought up Martin Jones again. Who says Martin Jones was even going to be good here?
He wouldn't
Is
be.
there any guarantee he was going to be good here? There's no guarantee.
No, he plays in front of a Sharks team that's built right now to win a Stanley Cup. They are.
They have a great defense.
Great defense. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Brent Burns, Marc-Edouard Vlasic, Paul Martin. I mean, they have really good D. Brent Burns is better than every defenseman on the Bruins. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, I said, made Team Canada for the Olympics. He's probably better than every defenseman on this Bruins roster right now. Even go to Paul Martin, who's a pretty good, reliable second-pairing defenseman. Would you rather have Paul Martin and Kevin Miller? Because I'm telling you right now, I'd rather have Paul Martin. I mean, if Martin Jones was the goalie of the Bruins, I don't think he would have anything close to the numbers that he's putting up in San Jose, because San Jose is a better team.
True story. And just a little update for you people out there. Toronto is just rolling Sabres 4-1, and the Ottawa is losing 3-2 to Detroit. So that's good news.
Yeah, Toronto has
they're a wagon, dude.
They're playing Buffalo, though. I mean,
Buffalo
they're playing
sucks.
Buffalo. Exactly my point. I mean,
don't get me wrong.
They are hot. They are hot. You are right about that. But
Sens are not.
Let's talk about some. Before we transition to some of the younger players, I just want to say that as the Bruins playoff push is heating up, SeatGeek is the smartest and easiest way to get tickets to every game. With SeatGeek's seamless mobile experience, you can buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. There's nothing like being in the stadium for the biggest plays of the year, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. I personally have the SeatGeek app on my phone, and it's by far the easiest way that I've found to shop for tickets. I can be anywhere, and with a few taps, I can instantly find seats. I actually just used it, as I said. I went to the Bruins game. Who was it against? I keep forgetting. Who did they recently play? Nashville. I went against Nashville, and I used the SeatGeek app, and it was by far the easiest and best way for me to get tickets. SeatGeek is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. And to get the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats that fit your budget. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. And it doesn't end with sports. SeatGeek also has plenty of concert, comedies, and theater tickets available. I know John Mayer is going to be at the Garden. I don't know if anyone's interested in that is listening to our show, but He's good. Yeah, he's good. If you want to check him out, they have John Mayer tickets on there. Best of all, listeners can get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. To get your $20, you must download the SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab, and click add a promo code. Enter promo code Bruins Beat. SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. Download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code Bruins Beat today. So, guys, obviously, as we touched on quickly earlier, but I want to get more into it now. The young guys, the prospects that they have coming up, and they just signed two of them from BU. Obviously, the big, sexy one that they just signed is Charlie McAvoy from Boston University. He played in his first few playoff games. I mean, not playoff games. He played his first professional games in Providence this past weekend, and he was getting rave reviews. I don't know if either of you saw this, but Mark Diver was saying that McAvoy had really, really good assists. Haggerty put up an article saying that McAvoy will be better than Colin Miller right now, because Haggerty was watching McAvoy play in Providence over the weekend, and he actually stated in the article that he thinks that McAvoy will be a better option than Colin Miller right now.
But you know what, Joe Hags, who I also, I love.
With the hype trains coming, Charlie McAvoy could be playing for the Bruins, and maybe even as soon as Thursday. I'm going to say McAvoy plays. I'm going to say he plays Saturday.
If they clinch.
He's going to play. He's going to play.
You think, regardless, if they don't clinch tomorrow night?
It's actually a good point.
They've been talking
Forsbacka Karlsson's going to probably play tomorrow night, the way they're going.
Saturday night. Saturday versus Washington is what people think is going to happen.
Yeah, but you got Haggerty saying today he was very unsure of whether McAvoy would be able to help the Bruins this season if they needed him. But watching him in the game, I saw him in Providence. There's certainly an argument to be made that he might even be better right now than a guy like Colin Miller. So they may be very tempted at some point to use him at the NHL level.
McAvoy's got Colin Miller because they benched him. Well, he played last game, but a couple games prior they put Lyles in, who didn't play in 30 games, 40 games. That scares me. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, and he says he got things he needs to work on, just like every other young player, like defensive structure, the pro game, and like the defensive zone. But you watch him with the puck, you watch him with the passes he makes to break out of his own end, you watch him on the power play. I would totally expect that he's going to get a look at the NHL level as long as the games don't count for anything anymore. So pretty much like you said, Joe, if they clinch. If they clinch on Tuesday and they win, he'll probably play on Thursday. That's my... No, if not, he'll probably play Saturday. So I'm actually essentially agreeing with what you just said because you were right.
Yeah, because they also make, you can put JFK in because if his immigration stuff gets figured out. But you could put him in on the third line because third line's trash anyway. But when it comes to the defense is playing pretty well overall. You don't want to kind of mess up the chemistry. So we'll see how that goes. No,
I agree. And the other one that the Bruins just signed too was JFK. Jacob Forsbacka Karlsson, the center from BU also, who's a second-round pick. He gets compared to Patrice Bergeron, plays a similar style like Bergeron. I'm not saying he's going to be Bergeron, so I don't want people to think that, but he just plays a similar type game like that Bergeron plays. And yeah, he was reporting straight to Boston, but now you got this immigration stuff going on because of Trump. I don't want to get into politics, but I think it's because of Trump's laws or whatever. I think so, but unless someone said that earlier and it was just a joke, but
no, I saw that too. But he played there at BU as a student, so maybe because he's not a student anymore. Yeah,
it's because it's like you're signing a contract to be like work over here professionally, so it's like you have to get like work visas and stuff like that. Do you know how sometimes that during the trade deadline, it's like they trade for someone that lives in Canada and it like takes them a week to like get their work visas or whatever. I think it's something along the lines of that. But yeah, it was bummed though, because I was excited to hopefully have him play tomorrow, because like you said, the third line is trash anyways. So why not play Forsbacka Karlsson, play the young kid, see what you got, and maybe he gives the third line a spark.
So as of 4 o'clock today, they just said he's not available to play NHL games until he receives immigration approval, whatever that means. You know what?
Yeah,
Trump's probably a Rangers fan. Trump's probably a Rangers fan. Will block us because it's huge.
I know. I hope it gets figured out though.
Facts. Fake news. Fake
Wrong.
news.
Wrong.
Huge.
But
My hands are
anyways,
small, but something else is huge.
I think this all but seals the deal for Spooner. I think
he
Forsbacka
sucks.
Karlsson's going to slide right into the third line center role, and Spooner's not going to be on the team anymore. Come next year. Next year, sorry.
Yeah, I think they cut. Too bad they didn't trade him when he actually had value.
I know, I agree. I totally agree. But hey, and someone actually made up this point to me today too. Maybe Claude Julien. No, you said it. Maybe Claude Julien was right about him.
He might be. You know, the only highlight I remember of Spooner is when he played with Pastrnak and Lucic. That half dozen to 20 games. I mean, dozen to 20 games. They were really good, and that was it. I don't remember anything else.
No, I totally agree. It was not. Yeah, it's not a good thing. And also, another thing that I was reading from Kirk Lodicki on Twitter. Does a great job covering some of the Bruins prospects. They were saying that he's really good, really, really good. If you don't follow him on Twitter, I suggest you do. He's a great follow. Kirk Lodicki, he said that the Bruins already have a contract pretty much locked up when Anders Bjork gets eliminated from Notre Dame. And I watched them play last week, obviously during the regionals. They beat UMass Lowell and they beat
my team.
Minnesota. He was all over the ice.
UMass
He was. I can't wait to see this kid play. And you had Lodicki pretty much saying that he could slide probably in with Krejci right now. So
Really?
Well, they don't have a left wing on Krejci's line. They keep experimenting with it, so why not just see what he can do? And I think he's very, very skilled. He's quick. I mean, I would like to see it. And I was saying, actually, I would put him with Bergeron and Marchand.
I mean, in defense of your Binky Krejci, he has not had a winger since Ginla.
No, please don't get me started on Krejci because I can go on another Krejci rant right now.
Well, I know you're gonna probably make a mess in your pants talking about him, but I'm just.
It's not even.
I mean, come on, he's doing pretty good. Pastrnak.
It's not even just that. Pastrnak's been kind of sucking recently, and I'm not.
All right, that's a strong word. Sucking, strong word. I think. Strong.
Cassidy called him out. Well, not him specifically.
You know what's funny? Him sucking is better than
they put him on Spooner's line last game. That's how bad he was playing.
I know he fell down a couple, but you know what? I think he'll be right back up there. I think he's going to get a couple more goals before the year's end. So we can't get in the mentality most of these haters get into. The guy has a bad game. He sucked. He's terrible. Let's trade him. Like Carlo had a bad run. Trade him. Get rid of him.
As far as I'm concerned, Pastrnak and Marchand are the two guys you don't call out. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're the two players that are leading this team right now.
Absolutely, Jason. Jason.
No, I think Pastrnak.
Jason, you bowing, Jason?
I think Pastrnak had a really bad game in Chicago, and he deserves to get called out. The Bruins, if the Bruins want to make the playoffs, they need him. And I hate when people say, "Oh, like Krejci this, Krejci that, Krejci this." He has 23 goals. He has the most goals he's ever scored in his entire career this year.
So, guys, I can ask you.
Look, I get it. His plus minus is not good. Sorry, Joe. You got me going on Krejci.
I know. You're in a froth.
Well, the one thing that bothers me is, like you said, he hasn't had line mates in 2 years. He played Lucic and Ginla that year when they were absolutely really phenomenal. And then after that, they traded. Ginla left free agency. They traded Lucic that offseason. They tried to replace him with Bolesky. That didn't work. I mean, Louis Eriksson played with them a little bit, but he was mostly playing with Marchand and Bergeron. Yeah. So he's never had line mates. Look, they're still doing it now. It's Krejci, Pastrnak, and who? Or it's Krejci, Backes, and who? Or it's Krejci, Stafford, and it's Krejci, Bolesky. They even put that kid Sean Corrali that they just called up on an emergency basis on his line the other day. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, give the guy some line mates and then see what he can do. And if he doesn't do anything, then I'll criticize him. I'll be the first person to criticize him because I criticize Rask when he doesn't do well. I criticize the team. I'll be highly critical of him. So.
Oh no! Damn it! Senators just tied up Detroit. Jesus, don't. Anyway, but here's the thing about your point about Pastrnak. You tell me, give me 1 to 2 players that have been consistently good the whole season.
I know, but he's just had
anybody.
No, I know, but he had a bad game. So he just.
Are you criticize? It's cool you criticize. I don't think he sucks. I think you can criticize.
Okay, maybe it was a little bit too strong of a word, but
Stafford is useless. Look, someone just said Stafford is useless. I think Stafford. It's who he is. He's not going to be. He's what, a third, fourth line guy. I think he had a little spark. I don't think he's useless. I think he's serviceable. He's better than Bolesky and friggin' Hayes.
That's exactly it. They traded a 6th-round pick for him, and that's
that wasn't Lee Stepniak. Oh, jeez, that was awful. That was so bad.
He was brought in to be a depth forward. He wasn't brought in to be a savior, like you just said.
Mike, Mike, what did we trade for Lee Stepniak again?
A 2nd and a 4th.
And what did we trade for Lyles again? 3rd and a 5th?
A third and a 5th, yeah.
Oh, God, what a horrible. That was such a bad. Oh, my God. So bad. Those are so bad. Oh, my God. They're lucky they draft them well. Thank God they're hitting on the ones they draft.
No kidding. Seriously.
They just made you seriously. I go back to 2011. I wrote an article before we sold us soul to win the cup, which I absolutely did because they did everything wrong that you could go wrong up to firing, up to getting Cassidy. This has been the first thing they did right since 2011. It's amazing. Oh, my God. Amazing.
It is kind of amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, Kathy agrees with you about Pasta, by the way, in the chat. Pasta did disappear yesterday. He did deserve not to get as much playing time, but Marshy, Pasta, and Berger, the last 3 to call out, they have carried their time. That's a true story. The lady called you out.
Oh, I know. She's not calling me out. She's just saying. Well, yeah, she was saying yesterday he didn't play well, and I agree. He didn't play well yesterday, and he deserved to get benched. That's why.
Well, it's one game. I'm not, if it's a consistent thing, that's different. It's one game. I don't really get concerned about one game. Every player has a bad day.
Well, he called himself out after the Tampa game, too, and said he needs to be better. So, he called himself out, and the coach, gave him a little benching. So, look, I'm not saying he sucks. I'm just saying he needs to be better. He's not a bad player. The Bruins need him to be better. And yes, he's been fantastic all season long. But down the stretch, the Bruins need him to just be a little bit better. That's all.
Hey, guys, I'll tell you right now that the Bruins just need to take care of business tomorrow because, honestly, they have got no help from anybody. These other teams are not losing. They're not. It's just. Senators to a degree, but they even tied up Detroit. So Bruins have to take care of business on their own tomorrow. They cannot rely on other teams. They got to win tomorrow. Put it away. Salt it away. If they don't come out like freaking gangbusters tomorrow, like you said, like a game 7, I'm not gonna feel good. If they come out flat tomorrow, that's scaring me. It's scaring me. Hello.
I'm still here.
I agree. Yep.
Okay, I don't know. Just don't drop the mic down their pants or something? Or?
Nope.
No, I did drop my headphones, so
Mike,
sorry.
By the way, are you using your new computer?
I am. Can you tell?
Michael, please share with the crowd what kind of computer it is.
I don't even know what it's called, but it was pretty expensive, I can tell you that.
It usually has like a nameplate on it about the brand. You don't know what it is.
It's a HP. I just
Okay. I don't know if you bought a guy, in an alley somewhere for like $200.
I was thinking about doing that instead, but
I'll buy the computer, but I'm not going to do that to you, sir.
Exactly right. But anyways, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
You just brought it up. Let's do this now.
No, I don't know
Three games left.
Okay.
Tomorrow, if they win in regulation, they're in.
Oh, we're gonna make predictions. Here we go.
We're gonna make some predictions.
Okay.
Are the Boston Bruins making the playoffs?
Yes.
Are they gonna win tomorrow night?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with yes. Finally, I say tomorrow they stomp Tampa. They win 6-1.
Oh wow!
Tomorrow's gonna be a blow. I'm with Joe on that.
You guys are nuts.
No,
I was nuts last week too, and I went 4-0. Don't judge me.
You know what? You know what, Jason? You talk, man, because you're walking the walk and talking the talk. I'll tell you right now, I think the Bruins are just finally sick and tired of losing and not making the playoffs. I think they're going to come out and blow out the team. I think Tuukka has to win, has to play
I can't believe you guys, after what you've seen from this team the past 2 years, are so confident that the Bruins are just going to waltz in on Tuesday and blow out Tampa and make the playoffs.
Mike,
I wouldn't say I'm confident. I'm just someone who's lucky.
Jason, agree with me here. If this was Claude, if they lost 4 in a row with Claude, they tanked. They're done.
Yeah, this is a different team.
Yes, this is.
Yeah, but Tampa's playing for their lives too.
Yes, but I believe
usually-
that last game that they lost to Tampa was an aberration.
And I'm pretty sure Mike shut off the TV during the Super Bowl too. So whatever.
No.
I didn't even watch the Super Bowl till the last 5 minutes, so I'm guilty of that
That's what
too.
you need to watch. I didn't shut off the TV. I didn't think they're going to win, but I didn't shut the TV off.
Well, look, Tampa's 4 points back over the Bruins. 4. And they have a game in hand.
They
This
beat
game
them
on
and they're
Tuesday
done.
for them is a must-win for them as well.
But they beat them.
I just can't believe it's not. All right, you guys think it's going to be a blow. I think the Bruins are going to win, but I think it's going to be by the skin of their teeth. I think it's going to be like a 3-2, 4-2 empty net type game. But
I honestly, I have no idea what they're going to do. I want them to win. You know what? We need to be comfortable for once because we've been having agita. You're Italian, you know what that means. Your heartburn. You know, you got the diarrheas. You got the leakage. I mean, this team just kills you inside. I mean, it has never been easy with this team since I remember. So why they can't win a game and make us feel comfortable? And I don't care about the
because that's not what the Boston Bruins do.
Yeah,
so they're not going to go in Tuesday and win 6-1 like you guys are saying. It's not going to be all sunshine and roses and everything is awesome and here we go. No, I can't do that.
Unicorns and cotton candy.
Yeah, that's what you guys have right now. Well, I don't see the Bruins win.
I don't know. I'm just lucky. I went 4-0 this week. I'm just lucky. I just don't.
Right.
I just think that this team is in that mindset.
You gotta call Vegas and bet money. It's,
if Gonzaga wins today, then I guess I might start having to call Vegas to bet money.
Jason, you gotta become a professional gambler because you know what? Pride does not pay bills.
Just makes you look good.
They won 5 games in a row, and Jason hasn't won in the next 3. So Jason hasn't gone on an 8-game win streak and going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Jason also has no pants on right now, so he's ready. He's talking.
I guess so, but I'm going to say the Bruins lose one of the last 2 games to Ottawa and Washington. I don't know which one it's going to be. I'm going to say they lose to Washington because Washington's better, but that's my prediction.
Washington's not going to be playing half their team if they've already clinched everything.
They lose the Bruins win tomorrow night, lose their last 2, and they're going to end up playing the Senators. There you go.
Playing the Senators. So you got Toronto losing down the stretch?
Yeah. I got to figure this out. Hold on. Let me carry the 1, divide by 3. Like I said, I don't know, Mike. I just want them. I'm looking at tomorrow, Mike. I'm not looking at next week yet. I'm looking at tomorrow. We need a win.
All right, sounds good.
So you guys gonna go out and watch the game, or I'm gonna probably be home just popping pills.
I'll be at home watching it, and I'll probably be the same way you are, having an anxiety attack.
I'm gonna be home watching it, sitting back to relax because I believe they're gonna win and be very calm and screw my head off.
Are you off tomorrow, Jason? Are you off?
Hell yeah!
So we're gonna be in our Skype Messenger, support group.
Yep, I'm off tomorrow and I'm off Thursday. If I'm correct, I believe I'm not off Saturday, but oh well.
I think I might Facebook Live the game tomorrow so we can all just share in what the hell goes on. They got to come out and win because I'll tell you, the crowd's going to be amped tomorrow night. It's going to be like the old days.
They should be.
Let's hope. All right, so is that our predictions? I guess we did predictions already.
Yep, so that will be it. Maybe this time next week, hopefully Bruins fans will be discussing the first round playoff series for the Boston Bruins.
The first time in 2 years. The first time for us as podcasters.
If not, Joe, Jason, and Michael did a triple somersault off the Tobin Bridge. If they don't,
and we'll no longer be able to do the show. But that'll be it. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at MikeSenta22. Joe's at BigBadBruins88. Jason's at JasonBuckley91. You can also follow our personal account at Bruins_beat. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher, right, Jason?
Yes, you can find us on iTunes at Boston Bruins Beat Podcast. So you can find us on Stitcher, and you can find us on the CLNS radio app.
You can find us in the playoffs.
That too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's the goal. But
let's do it.
But we'll be back next week. Go Bruins.
Go Bruins.